They didn't use wheels. They had no writing. They shaped stone with stone. And yet, they built the largest empire in the Americas. The Incas ruled over 10 million people, carved cities into mountains, and managed everything with knots. Then a storm of disease, civil war, and betrayal tore it all apart. In just one generation, an empire that took centuries to build was gone. This is the story of a civilization that defied logic, defied nature, and then was erased. Long before the Incas raised their stone walls, they told stories of gods who rose from Lake Titicaca, of a golden staff, and two siblings, Manco Capac and Mama Olo, sent by the sun to find fertile land. They wandered until the staff sank into the earth in a place we now call Cusco. Myth? Maybe. But archaeology tells us this. Around the 13th century, a small Andean kingdom began to grow, and they weren't alone. The Andes were home to dozens of cultures. The Wari, engineers of the first great Andean roads. The Tiwanaku, master stoneworkers from the shores of Lake Titicaca. And the Chachapoya, cloud warriors who built cities in the mist. Each culture left behind ideas, roads, stories. A new power would rise to claim them all. Then, in 1438, one man changed everything. Pachacuti. His name meant, "He who overturns the world." And that is exactly what he did. With Pachacuti's rise, the kingdom of Cusco became an empire. Tawantinsuyo, the land of four quarters. It wasn't just a name. The empire was divided into four vast regions. Chinchaysuyo in the northwest, Antisuyo in the east, Colasuyo in the south, and Kuntisuyo in the west. From Colombia to Chile, the Incas conquered mountains, jungles, deserts, faster than anyone thought possible. But not just with swords. They used diplomacy, marriage, intimidation, and roads. So many roads. Over 40,000 kilometers, built without wheels, without horses. And yet, they moved armies, messengers, and food faster than medieval kingdoms. At the heart of it all, Cusco, a city shaped like a puma, ruled by the Sapa Inca, son of the sun, divine, untouchable, and absolute. And here's the wild part. He ruled millions without a single written word. No paper, no alphabet. Just knots. The quipu, a system of strings so advanced, it recorded census data, taxes, maybe even stories. Only trained Quipucamayos could read them. They trained for years, memorized thousands of codes, passed secrets from master to apprentice. And today, we still don't fully know how. This wasn't chaos, it was precision. Because Inca society ran like clockwork. Families were organized into islas, clans bound by blood and duty. Everyone owed labor to the state, building roads, harvesting crops, weaving textiles. And in return, the empire gave back food, protection, massive feasts. It was socialism, before the word even existed. And it worked. But control wasn't just in food or roads. It was in faith. In the Capacocha ritual, children were chosen, honored, and offered to the gods atop sacred peaks. A sacrifice of purity to maintain cosmic order. The Andes are brutal. Thin air, cold nights, steep slopes. But the Incas, they turned mountains into farmland. How? Terraces, steppe farming, carved into cliffs. Fed by glacier water through miles of irrigation canals. They grew potatoes, maize, quinoa, coca, and they even invented freeze-dried food, chuño. It could last for years. The Incas built massive storage facilities, colcas, to preserve food. Grain silos made of stone and clay, vented for air circulation, strategically placed across the empire for emergencies. Their cities? Masterpieces. Stone blocks so perfectly cut, no mortar was needed. Still standing, still earthquake-proof. Like Machu Picchu, a royal estate, a spiritual retreat? We still don't know. Because the Incas left no diaries, no manifestos, only monuments. The Capacocha wasn't just a road, it was an empire's nervous system. Two main highways, one through the mountains, one along the coast, connected by thousands of branch roads, and on them, the chasquis, elite runners, relay-style messengers covering up to 150 miles a day. At every station, tambos, waypoints with food, water, and shelter. Messages crossed the empire in days, with no wheel, no ink, just lungs and legs. But even the most efficient systems can break. By 1532, the Incas were already unraveling. Smallpox, a disease they'd never seen, killed their emperor, Huayna Capac, and more than half the population. Before the Spanish even arrived, the empire was in crisis. Then came civil war. Two sons, Atahualpa and Huáscar, fighting for the crown. The empire split in two. Enter Francisco Pizarro. 168 men, steel, guns, horses, and perfect timing. They captured Atahualpa, demanded a room full of gold. The Incas paid. They killed him anyway. Not the end, but the moment the fall became unstoppable. In 1533, the Spanish marched into Cusco, temples looted, nobles executed, a puppet emperor installed. But the Inca heart still beat. In 1536, Manco Inca, the puppet emperor, rebelled. He laid siege to Cusco, almost won, but failed. So he fled into the jungle, founded a new capital, Vilcabamba. There, the Incas resisted for nearly 40 more years. It wasn't until 1572 that the Spanish found and executed the last Inca ruler, Tupac Amaru. That was the real end. So no, they didn't fall in a day. They fell, battle by battle, virus by virus, betrayal by betrayal. Not with a bang, but with a slow, quiet death. But the Incas never really vanished. Today, millions still speak Quechua, the language of the empire. Their terraces still grow food. Their stone walls still stand. Their rope bridges still woven by hand every year. Their rituals still performed. From the sun festival of Inti Raymi to llama sacrifices in the highlands, fragments of the old world live on. Their legacy isn't in museums. It's in people's blood, in their rituals, their music, their stories, and maybe in a few unsolved puzzles. We think of history as a line, progress, upward, forward. But what if we're just circling? The Incas ruled without money, organized millions without writing, engineered wonders without iron. They fell, not because they were behind, but because they were ahead. They had a system. It worked, until it was destroyed by another. And now, We walk on their roads. We plant on their terraces. We live in cities built on their ruins. So maybe, just maybe, they didn't disappear. We just stopped listening. If this made you question what we've forgotten, imagine what else is still buried. Subscribe and stay curious.